It's time for The Pet Show with America's favorite pet expert, Warren Eckstein. Warren is the author of How to Get Your Cat to Do What You Want and How to Get Your Dog to Do What You Want. He's here to answer all your pet and animal questions. And now, Warren Eckstein.
Hey, good morning, everyone, and welcome once again to The Pet Show. Is your pug making you pout? Are your Abyssinians a bit anxious? Does your Irish setter have you seeing red? Well, if you love animals, care about wildlife and the environment, and want to truly understand your dog or cat's behavior almost as well as they understand yours, if you're confused about your pet's behavior or just want to improve their lifestyle, you know what to do. Stay tuned, because once again, right here, right now, it is time for The Pet Show. America's first and only real pet psychology, pet training, pet behavior, and of course, pet lifestyle show. So hop up on my couch. Bring those furry little buddies with you, folks, because it is that time once again to let the animal analyzing begin. Hey, good morning, everyone. I'm Warren Eckstein. This is The Pet Show, the place where we absolutely, positively, never a doubt about it, love, adore, and as I stress every single week, respect pets and animals as much as you do. By the way, if you want to join me on the Evergreen Pet Show family, if you want to find out why your dog is jumping, digging, your dog doesn't like the dog next door, you take him for a walk, he turns into Cujo, he humps everything he sees, doesn't come back when you call him, your cat doesn't use the litter box, doesn't get along with the new cat that came into the house, woke you up in the middle of the night, you get the idea. That's what we do here on The Pet Show. And what we've been doing for the last 43 years is help guardians cope with their pets' behavior. But from my perspective, a lot more importantly, help our poor dogs and cats cope with the people that they live with, because their behavior is a lot more difficult. By the way, if you happen to be new to The Pet Show, let me just remind everyone that everyone that calls into the show with a question, a comment, a story, just want to brag about a new dog or cat that you've adopted or rescued, everyone that calls into the show will get a fabulous gift. Don't get excited. It's not for you. It's for that beautiful dog or cat. And by the way, it's not like I'm giving away biscuits here. Many of the items I give away are worth as much as $35, $45, even $50. So if you have a question, a comment, want to share a great story about your dog or cat, great time to give me a call. I'd love to hear from you guys as well. I just looked out my window. It's pouring in Santa Monica. So, how do your dogs and cats react in the rain? You know, I often talk about how when it's raining outside, more dogs and cats get lost because everything changes. The smells changes, and they pick up on the atmospheric pressure. So, make sure you know where your dogs and cats are whenever it rains. Great time to give me a call, by the way. As I said, everyone that calls in with a question, a comment, a story, or just to brag a little bit about their dog or cat or how their pets react in the rain, will get a great gift. Here's the phone number at the Pet Show. 866-870-KRLA. That's 866-870-KRLA. But maybe you're more of a numbers person like me. That's 866-870-5752. 866-870-5752. That is the way to get through. Plenty of time for your calls. Lots of great stuff to give away. I'll go over a list later, but I got Hugs and Kisses, Author Sue Code, copies of my best-selling books, Lucy Pet Food, T-shirts, flea spray. Lots of great stuff to give away. 866-870-KRLA. That is the phone number. And you know, as always, the phones get pretty jammed up here at the Pet Show, so I don't often have time to get through all the topics, but I'm going to try to get through most of my topics today because there's some really important info I want to share with you guys. So let me tell you what's coming up on the show. However, you know by now, there's no way I'm going to get through it all because your calls, your questions, your comments, your stories, you schmoozing your dogs, that's all going to be my priority. But here's what I have planned for today's show. Number one, do you know your dog or cat's emotional stressors? May sound crazy to some people out there, but do you really know your dog or cat's emotional stressors? Coming up, why this is so important and how we can actually reduce emotional stress in our pets. Now, you'll be saying, what can our dog or cat be stressed over? But, you know, stress has the same reaction in our pets as it does on us. It can really be detrimental to their health physically and psychologically. So we're going to talk about that a little bit later on today's show. You know, I don't think there's anyone in the world that's been kissed by more kissed by more dogs than I have. I've been kissed by thousands and thousands of dogs. Now, many suggest that dogs do not understand kissing, and there are many other reasons why your dog may lick you. So don't feel flattered when your dog kisses you. Well, maybe you should. To kiss or not to kiss? That is the question coming up in a little bit. Again, the number 866-870-5752, 866-870-5752. Now, also coming up on today's show, I've talked about this before, but many of you know that I've worked with many militaries and police departments, and my specialty was teaching dogs to sniff out narcotics, every type of drug imaginable, and all to sniff out incendiary devices. So that was my specialty, kind of incendiary devices and drugs. What a job that was, folks, let me tell you. But how good, really, how good is your dog's sense of smell? Today we're going to talk about the ultimate scent detection machine coming up, and we love our dogs. We love our cats. There's always the controversy. What's better, dog or cat or dog or cat? Well, today we're going to find out what your dogs can learn from your cats. What your dogs can learn from your cats. So great time to give me a call. 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752, 866-870-5752. That is the way to get through. And here's the question of the day. Do you believe that our pets can tell what we're thinking? Now, you may think I'm a little eccentric, and heaven forbid I should ever be called eccentric. But I do. I know exactly what my dogs are thinking at all times. If my dog has to pee, I know it. If my dog wants to go outside and play, I know it. If my dog wants to eat, I know it. My dog's mad at me, I know it. Do you know what your dog or your cat is thinking? I'd love to hear from you. And the only reason I asked that question is because someone said, Warren, you may be a little insane and may need a little help when you think you know what your dog or cat is thinking. So help me out here, folks. Am I the only one, or do other people out there believe that their dog and their cat can often, or they really kind of know what their dog or cat is thinking? Give me a call, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. We'll take your calls, plenty of time for them, and as I said, lots of pretty amazing stuff to give away. Excuse me. Also, coming up on today's show, it's been, years since I did a remote in the San Fernando Valley. And I love you guys in the San Fernando Valley. You're absolutely amazing. Well, next Saturday, he's back. That's right. Next Saturday, a major remote taking place in Tarzana at Teresa's Country Feed and Pet. This is a grand opening of their store. Now, just listen to what's going to take place next week. Now, I will be there broadcasting this show. I'll be broadcasting my international show. I'll be broadcasting my Armed Forces radio show, all from Teresa's Country Pet in Tarzana next week. But that's not it. Many of you may remember a few years back, the longest float in the Rose Bowl parade was Lucy Pet Products float. It was actually a wave machine. I don't know. I remember Joey was so scared about, is it going to make that turn or is it not going to make that turn? Well, it did. This is truly a wave-making machine where dogs can really surf. So I am inviting you. Come on, you guys live in Southern California. Your dog's not surfing? Hang 10, my buddy, or how many paws they have. We're going to teach your dogs, so you can more than welcome to bring your dogs down next Saturday while I'm broadcasting. The surf machine will be there. Wagmore Pets will be there with adoption, a free vaccination clinic. By the way, if you don't know, Dr. Kawani Stewart, who was CNN's 2023 Hero of the Year, he will be there for that free vaccination clinic sponsored by Lucy Pet Foundation. So we'll talk more about that later, but mark that calendar down. It's going to be at Teresa's Country Feed and Pet in Tarzana. That's next Saturday. I'll be broadcasting from 9 a.m. until 3 p.m. All the other amazing stuff is going on with vendors. There's bounce houses, there's raffles, there's free samples, lots of giveaways. I'll talk more about this a little bit later because I'm real excited. It's been maybe it was the day after my bar mitzvah when I spoke to you guys last. But I'm so looking forward to getting out there. And, one of the things that always is concerning, we've been doing this radio show, 43 years, 44, who knows now. And very often I get to answer your questions every week, but I can't go into the depth. Well, what I can do when we're out there at the remote, I'll try to get into a lot more depth. So yeah, it's me, guys. Come on. Bring your dogs. Bring your cats. I'll analyze them right on the spot and tell you right off the bat your dog is fine, but you need a little psychological help. Again, the number here, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. You know, the last couple of weeks, I did a couple of stories from my autobiography, you know, things I really don't talk about that often. And people really respond and say, Warren, you'd like to hear more of those stories. What other stories can you tell us? There are thousands and thousands and thousands. So I think today, many of you know that when I was in New York, I was doing a lot of really advanced training for the police departments and whatever, and certain private individuals. I'm going to talk about the day that I was almost killed. Yeah, almost killed. Had a knife in my head, a gun pointed at me. Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit later. I'm telling you, it was an incredible story. They read about it in my autobiography. They wanted to hear exactly what happened and how am I still here? How did I get away from the maniac that had the knife and gun pointed at me right at the Fulton, not the Fulton Fish Market, at the fruit market in the Bronx. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Plenty of time for your calls. Lots of great stuff to give away. Again, that phone number, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Plenty of time for your calls. We're also going to take a look a little bit later if we have time. I had a call this week from a listener in Iowa whose dog all of a sudden started hiding. And she couldn't figure out why the dog was hiding. So we might talk about that if we have time a little bit later. If you want to see the face behind the mic, I don't know why. But if you want to, you can go to my YouTube channel. We're broadcasting live on YouTube at youtube.com/Warren Eckstein. That's youtube.com/Warren Eckstein. All right, let me get to a phone call right now. Yeah, Alex, I'll get to a phone call. Then I promise I will take a commercial break. You have no idea how tough it is working with Alex as an engineer. But let me go to is it Kathy? Yes, Kathy. Hey, Kathy, welcome to the Pet Show.
I am calling to thank you. You gave me the best advice last week that I have ever had, and it's saved our lives. I called to complain about some problems I was having with crate training a Great Dane, and you had me rethink the whole idea of crate training, and it's been magnificent.
You know, let me adjust my halo. Listen to me, Kathy. You know, years ago, I was totally 100% against crate training. And let me tell you why. The majority of people had no idea what crate training was. And what they would do is when they went to work, their dog would go in a crate. That's 8 hours. They came home from work, had some supper, went out to Walmart, another 2 hours. They would sleep another 8 hours. That's 16, 18 hours a day the dogs were spending in a crate. I didn't like that.
Right.
So I believe that everyone, specifically living in California or anywhere where there could be hurricanes or earthquakes, that a crate should be available in case there's an emergency for transportation. But quite honestly, a dog like a Great Dane, there's no need to use a crate. I mean, you can teach him little by little. How's he doing, by the way? That's the big question.
Oh, fantastic! What we did is we just we were using it for potty training basically, and my grandson, we kind of cordoned off the kitchen. My grandson, who's amazing, put a cot down there and slept in the kitchen with him a couple of nights to make him comfortable, and he never had an accident. He's just been perfect.
Amazing.
Perfect.
See, every once in a while we get it right. I am so glad. Let me see if I remember. This Great Dane, did it have like white feet? I'm trying to remember now.
He's got white feet. He's the very bluish gray color, and he's
a merle, So what they call a blue merle.
Okay.
A blue merle with white feet. It's almost like I remember things from week to week.
He's gorgeous. You do. You have good memory. But anyway, thank you so much.
Thank you, Kathy. Go ahead.
Your promo where you proclaim that you're a genius, I thought I should call and second it.
Well, you and my mother, the only two other people that believe that. Anyway, give that puppy a hug and a kiss. And again, thank you for calling, Kathy. Phone number here, 866-870-KRLA. Let me tell you how tough it is to work with Alex. Suzette's a doll to work with. Alex, while I'm talking to this lady, he's in my ear saying, go to break, go to break, go to break. So I guess I will. Hey, listen, for years now, you heard me talk Come on, you know you're smiling. I grew up watching Captain Kangaroo. I've talked about this before. Bob Keeshan, Captain Kangaroo, lived in the next town away from me on Long Island. And I really think, if I'm thinking back now, there were two shows that kind of influenced me when I was young. I would think Captain Kangaroo, because, you know, you're Dancing Bear and a lot of anthropomorphism there. So that was one of the shows. And there was another show, and I'm trying to think, you guys are way too young to remember. I think it was called Kukla, Fran, and Ollie. Kukla, Fran, and Ollie. By the way, another story from Warren, I was a guest in the original Peanut Gallery, as well as the Shari, what was it? Shari with the lamb chop. Shari show with the lamb chop as well. A long, long time ago. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number. You know, someone asked me this week, why is my dog yawning? Well, here's what you need to take a look at. If you notice that your dog is yawning and at the same time is stretching, generally that's indicative of a dog that's upset and he's trying to calm himself down or just trying to relax. So if you notice that your dog is yawning, it's not that you're boring him, or maybe you are, but if they yawn and stretch at the same time, usually that's indicative of a dog trying to calm themselves down. I kind of do the same thing. Let me get to the phones here. Let's go to Doris in Orange. Hey, Doris, welcome to the show.
Hi there.
Hey, Doris, what's up?
Thank you for taking my call.
It's my pleasure. What's up?
Well, we have twin mini dachshund girls. They're 4.5. One weighs 8 pounds. One weighs 12. They were the only ones in the litter. They're sweet, loving, wonderful girls. The older one is, or the bigger one is hardy, eats and plays, and the younger or smaller one is 8 pounds, and she has continual stomach issues. So over the years, we've had lots of vomiting, diarrhea, occasional dehydration, getting shots and stuff like that. They've been on new pet food, one of the ones that we saw on TV, and they've been doing really well. They both are changed personalities, but she still has like once a week, probably a day where she won't eat at all, some vomiting, some
well, let me ask you a question. What does your veterinarian say?
You know, we take her in, and it's like, oh, she's back in again, and he'll feel her and squeeze her, and they'll take, you know, samples of her stool and stuff, and he says, you know, we can do more testing, and it's hundreds of dollars, and basically, you know, just keep her on a steady diet.
Doris, this is a 4-year-old dog. This is a young dog. This is a baby, a young dog. Now, you've probably been to your vet a dozen times, and this is nothing against your vet. He's probably an amazing guy. Yeah. However, if anyone in my family, whether it be my dog, my cat, my wife, myself, or my parakeet, whatever, if I were going to the vet and I was not getting results, or if I was not getting the answers, and the vet was saying, well, we could do this, we could do that, the first thing I would do would get on the phone and go to a veterinary internist, go to a specialist, and I'll tell you why. It may mean absolutely nothing. It may mean that there's nothing wrong and your vet is absolutely right. What a great way you can go to sleep that night if that's the answer. However, by going to a specialist, just like with human beings, you're going to get a result a little bit quicker, so it may cost you a drop more up front, but not only are you going to get a result, but to be able to find out exactly what's going on. So anytime you have a recurring problem, and this is nothing against vets, no one's omnipotent, but anytime you have a recurring problem, and your vet is not getting to the bottom line, that's not a negative against the vet, again, but getting a specialist, someone who works on it day in and day out. I'll give you an example. I spoke to someone this week that called me from Iowa. Oh, it was Iowa or Kansas, anyway, one of those states in the Midwest. And they had a dog, and the dog was really starting to lose its vision. And so what their vet was saying, well, it's just an older dog, and this is what happens when the older dog loses his vision. We can put some, we can do this, we can do that. I recommended she go to a veterinary ophthalmologist. She went to a veterinary ophthalmologist. He took a look at it, put the dog on medication, and the dog now sees better than I do. That's not always the outcome, but going to a specialist is some way, very often, the way to approach it.
We had an incident a couple years ago where it was Friday night. She had been vomiting. She seemed like she was dehydrated. She was not looking like she was doing well. We ended up taking her into kind of an emergency hospital clinic, and they kept her all weekend. And many thousands of dollars later, they put her on a medicine and said, you know, it looks like she has some kind of irritation in her stomach and intestines. And they put her on a medication, but then she started losing all of her hair. So,
well, you know, the worst thing you want to hear from when you go to a doctor's office, whether it be a veterinarian or a human doctor, is I don't know what it is, but you know,
Yeah.
I've never seen, or I've never seen this before. You don't want to hear that. I'm a firm believer. Listen, I love dachshunds. You know, owning a dachshund or living with a dachshund's like having a big dog dressed in a little dog suit. They're ready to take on the world. They were badger hunters in Europe. I worked with them there. Great dogs. But again, the bottom line here is I would definitely suggest a second opinion from a specialist at this point. I think that will give you the quickest answer and the quickest results, and then you can make whatever decisions from that point on.
May I describe one other thing? This morning we had a little episode. Sometimes if she comes in from being outside doing her early morning stuff, she'll shiver a little bit. And we usually sit in my chair, and we have a big blanket we wrap up in, the three of us together. And this morning she just kept that tremor and licking. It felt more like she was having a seizure or something. I wouldn't stop, and she felt uncomfortable.
But eventually it did stop.
Yeah, eventually it did stop.
Yeah, so, my background being in behavior, it's hard for me to diagnose. That's where your vet will come into play. But it could be a lot of, there's a lot of changes atmospherically going on right now. The storms are coming in. All that can affect our pets. But I would get a second opinion at this point. I think that's the way to go, for sure.
Right. Okay, is there a place that we can call you to get a suggestion in Orange County?
Gosh. You know what I would do? If you go online to the Orange County Veterinary Medical Association or the Southern California Veterinary Medical Association, they will have a list of specialists there. Go through them, find one close to you, check out their references carefully, and that's the way I would recommend you go.
Great. Thanks for your suggestions.
And give those guys a hug and a kiss, but don't go in. I'm going to put you on hold, and I am going to send you, I'm going to send you guys some, I don't want to send you, do I want to send you, I'm going to send you some Lucy Pet Food. Check the ingredients on Lucy Pet Food. I'm sure they're going to be absolutely fine. That prebiotic, probiotic formula may be exactly what your dog needs, so check that out as well. But make the switch gradually, not all at one time, a little bit at a time. Hey, the phone number here at the Pet Show, 866-870-KRLA. I still got hugs and kisses to give away. I got more Lucy Pet Food to give away, kitty lickies, copies of my best-selling books, either dog or cat. I got T-shirts that say "None of my friends walk upright," all-natural herbal flea spray. I got stuff to spray on your dog's paw if they're licking it too much. And if you have one of those dogs that's scooting his butt on the floor, I even got some great stuff for that as well. Number here, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Quick break, then right back to your calls. The bird is the word. Hey, we are back on the Pet Show. I'm Warren Eckstein. That number 866-870-KRLA. Again, I'm just reminding you guys that it's been a long time, and I don't know when the next time I'm going to get out in the public with you guys, but I'm so looking forward to it. I will be there as long as it takes to answer every one of your questions in depth. That's next Saturday. Teresa's Country Feed and Pet. It's their grand opening in Tarzana. They're located at 18601 West Oxnard Street, Tarzana, California. I told you that the Lucy surf machine, the wave machine will be there. If you've never seen that, what an impressive thing this is. I'll be broadcasting all of my shows there. Wagmore will be there with Pets for Adoption, vendors, free stuff, bounce houses. This is quite and Lucy Pet Foundation has that free vaccination clinic provided there, so you're not going to want to miss that. And if you go to my website, thepetshow.com, you'll see all the information for that. You can also go to Teresa's Country Feed and Pet website, and I believe it's up there as well. 866-870-KRLA. Let me go to Teresa first, then we got Dr. Mark Brenner. We'll get to you in a second, but right now, Teresa, welcome to the Pet Show. Hi, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. I have a 4-year-old Shih Tzu, and he has the problem of itching his paws, and he's on Cytopoint, Apoquel, and we just changed his food to a prescription diet food, and he's still itching.
There's a couple of things that goes on. There are a lot of allergy problems with dogs, and here's the scenario. Do we know what the dog is allergic to? Is he allergic to the environmental issues? He's allergic to the fertilizer your vet puts down on the floor, your gardener puts down?
Oh, he's indoor only. He's indoor.
Okay, well, no. What type of carpet cleaner do you use? What do you use to clean up the floor with? All of those things, dogs can have allergies or reactions to. So it's very, very possible that it is an allergy. The fact that he's licking the paws is usually indicative. And is it the top of the paws or the bottom of the paws?
It's the top.
The top of the paws would be much more of an environmental allergy. The bottom of the paws would be because of touch. So, again, you heard the last call. I hope you heard the last call I made.
I did.
Okay, there are a lot of things you can do. Number one, I am going to send you my own product. I'm going to send you a jar. Now, it's going to take a week or two to get there, maybe a little longer, but when it gets there, believe me, it's worth it. I put my heart and soul into this, developed it over 35 years ago. So I'm going to send you a jar of the Hugs and Kisses. And the reason it's so important is in the Hugs and Kisses, there are two products that are usually separate. I put them together in perfect harmony. There's lecithin and biotin. Together, nothing better for skin and coat. So here's what I would recommend.
Good.
I would and plus the fact it has, the chondroitin glucosamine for hips and joints, and it has prebiotics and probiotics for gut health. All of those things will make a difference. However, bottom line is this. We get him on the Hugs and Kisses. He seems to be doing better, but for whatever reason, we're still finding that there may be some type of allergic reaction. What do we do at that point? You simply speak to your vet, or you get the name of a veterinary dermatologist. They can do an allergy test. It's a little expensive up front. I had to do this with one of my dogs several years ago. They take the blood. They either send it to a laboratory. They can do it themselves. They figure out what type of allergens are causing the dog to have this type of reaction, and they can actually make a vaccine, which you can give to your dog yourself. It's a subcutaneous thing once a week, once every other week. And I did that with my dog Rio for like years and years and years, and not an other reaction from what he normally was, just going crazy, scratching and itching. So it can make a difference. But let me do this. Let me get you a jar of the Hugs and Kisses. Just be patient with me. We just got it back because, as you know, that I didn't have it for a while because there was one ingredient that we couldn't get, and I said I'm not putting it together until that ingredient arrives. Well, it's arrived, but it may take a little longer to get to you, a couple of weeks. But that's what I'm going to send to you. What's your Shih Tzu's name, by the way? What's your Shih Tzu's name?
Anwei.
Anwei?
It means comfort in Chinese.
What happened to Duke, Duchess, Queenie, Prince, Whitey, Blackie, Sam? This is so, when I was in New York, every dog I trained was Duke, Benji. Now, I have learned names since I moved to Southern California. I have learned you guys name your dogs entirely. You guys in California name your dogs the same way they do in the city. But I'm a Long Islander. On Long Island, it's good old Duke and Duchess. Yes.
Oh yes.
Yes, a Long Islander. You'd never know it because I totally lost my accent, but I am from Long Island. Anyway,
that's awesome.
Teresa, you give your pup.
Anwei?
big hug. I'm not going to say it. I forget the names already. You give your puppy a big hug and a kiss. I'm going to put you on hold. The lovely, lovely Suzette, who, by the way, is lovely. She may even try to sneak out next week. We'll see. The lovely Suzette will pick up the phone. We'll get your information. And a jar of the Hugs and Kisses vitamin mineral supplement treats will be on their way to you. I promise. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number, 866-870-5752. Let me take another call. We're going to get to you, Stephen, in Harbor City. We'll get to you, Bruce, in Cypress. Right now, let's go to Dr. Mark Brenner in beautiful Sherman Oaks. Hey, Dr. Brenner, welcome to the show.
Warren, you're a world-class show in every way. First, I want you to know that. Okay. Brian, okay. Warren, I've got a 3.5-month-old golden retriever, a champion. However...
Whoa. He's not a champion yet.
No, but he comes from a line, okay? I paid a lot, but let's put that aside for now. Turns out I took him to the vet. One testicle they're predicting is not going to drop.
So the vet said he was a monorchid?
This is what it would be a miracle, right? If it dropped, but it could happen, but a miracle. So we're not counting on it. They said do it between 8 months and a year. I called the breeder. The breeder said, Dr. Brenner, in our experience, you should wait. Is that his head will form to be bigger the way you like his body? We suggest 2 years. I want to know from you, what do you feel is the proper protocol? As a doctor, of course, they want to get rid of it as soon as possible. But for breeding, but for looks, what is your professional analysis?
Well, first of all, from a look perspective, okay, I've never seen a dog look under his tail and get depressed because he didn't have any testicles, okay? So let's just leave that part of it alone. Number two...
No, they're saying the head won't grow. The same size.
The head's going to grow, but here's the controversy, and I'm going to give you an answer that's kind of wishy-washy. Number one, most veterinarians would recommend that you neuter a male golden retriever probably between that 11-month and that 24-month span of time. However, some people do it as young as 3 months, okay? But I definitely recommend, that 12-month to 24-month period of time, or even 6 to 9 months some recommend. So it's going to be a choice, Doc, that you're going to have to make. I mean, you can go with the breeder. Remember that the breeders are breeding specifically for show dogs, especially companion show dogs. Are you going to get involved with showing your dog?
No, I'm never going to do that.
All right, so here I'm going to go out on a limb here. How old is the puppy now?
Good.
How old is the puppy?
He's exactly 3.5 months.
I would watch him. I would say probably at around 11 months. Give me a call back, and I think that's about the time we're going to start talking about doing it.
I see. So don't wait 1.5 to 2 years.
No, there's still a possibility it may come down, right? I've seen them come down a long time later. So, just because he's cryptorchid now, or monorchid now, yeah. So it's, let's wait and see. As long as he's healthy, did they see the testicle or no testicle at all?
They did. They spotted it. They looked too far from the sac. But I'm wondering, massaging, things of this sort, would it help or no?
I don't know how to answer that before I get kicked off the air. Being honest with you, Doc.
Yeah, okay.
I'm trying to figure out how to answer that properly without being kicked off. You see, Prager doesn't get these kind of calls, right?
What's that?
Dennis Prager doesn't get these kind of calls. He doesn't have to worry. I get these kind of calls.
I've been on the air with Dennis. I work in high-conflict families, and people, it's not popular to say, not even politically correct, but you have more knowledge about human behavior than most clinical psychologists that give the people advice about their children. If they called Warren, they would be wiser and smarter.
Yeah, tell that to my mother. Hey, listen, one more thing for you that I'm going to recommend. I would also recommend that perhaps you speak to, I don't know what kind of practice you're in, but I would speak to a complimentary vet. Just have a conversation.
Who?
A complimentary veterinarian? Alternative? Yes. Just have a quick, even if it's a phone consultation, have a consultation with them because there are always new things coming up in that end. And I like to work with both conventional and alternative at the same time. But again, my gut is around 11 months old. Let's wait. We'll see a little bit. You can call me anytime you want. You know that.
Warren, thank you for the courtesy of the call. There'll be no altering on his personality or anything, right?
The old saying that if you neuter a dog, the only thing you're going to do by neutering your dog is two things. Number one, you're going to make him live longer, you're going to make him healthier, and make him happier. That's the way to go. He's not going to develop testicular cancer. He's not going to develop prostate issues. He's not going to develop all kinds of other problems. So neutering is definitely the way to go. It's the healthy way, as is spaying for a female dog. So that's what I would do. Anyway, here's what I'm going to do. You got a 3-month-old puppy. I don't know why I'm giving this away, but I'm also going to put you on hold because I'm going to send you also a jar of hugs and kisses. But be patient. It will get there, I promise, and I promise you will have the most beautiful, gorgeous golden retriever ever. How's that?
Thank you, Warren, for a world-class show and being a world-class man. Thank you.
I appreciate it. I'm putting you on hold. Suzette will pick up, and we are going to send you a jar of hugs and kisses. Just be patient with you. Yeah, I know, Alex. I got to take a commercial break. Phone number here, 866-870-KRLA. Robert, don't go anywhere. Stephen, don't go anywhere. Bruce and Cypress, don't go anywhere. I'll get to all your calls, I promise. 866-870-5752. 866-870-KRLA. Listen, if you And we are back on the Pet Show. The phones are jam-packed. We're going to get to all your calls, I promise. We got a whole hour to go, so just sit there, have a cup of coffee, give your dog a hug and a kiss. We're going to get to Stephen, and then we have Bruce and Linda and Ellen. Some interesting calls, though. Some tough calls. I'll get to you. Linda, I'm going to get to you. Ellen, I want to get to you. Ellen's call if she has a dog that may be dying, so I want to talk to her for sure. A lot of interesting calls here. It's interesting. We're going to get this. But right now, let me go to Stephen, who's got bit by a dog. Wow. Hey, Stephen, welcome to the Pet Show.
Hello. Yeah, this is Stephen. Can you hear me?
Absolutely. Like you're right next to me, Stephen. What is happening?
Well, I had a strange experience with a dog. I don't have pets, but it happened on January 1st of 2024 during the morning time. I was on my way to the market to get a money order, and I always take an alleyway as the fastest shortcut to get to the market. But on my way to the market, I always go to this alleyway, and when I was halfway down the alleyway, I saw this black dog, and he was on the right side of the alleyway, so I moved to the left side and walking slowly, not to provoke him, disturb him in any way, but then he trotted up to me, and he sniffed my right hand for about 5 seconds, and then he bit my entire right hand, but just hard enough where I can feel his bite, but not to puncture my skin, and then he let go and trotted away. So obviously he was trying to tell me something. What was he trying to tell me? But what I got out of it was that he sniffed me to get my identity, to know who I am, and then he bit me as though to say that maybe I'm his property and on his turf, and that if I respect him, he'll be nice to me. That's what I got out of it.
Well, let me tell you what you should have got out of it. Number one is it drives me crazy that there's so many stray dogs around. Number two is when a dog uses its mouth on you and puts pressure on you, but doesn't bite down, that doesn't necessarily mean that the dog is biting. The dog, and you hit the nail on the head, the dog was probably letting you know something. Exactly what it was, I wasn't there. I can't tell you. Maybe, I've had dogs do things like that, or heard of dogs, and maybe their guardian is hurt, or maybe they're lost, or maybe they want you to follow them. Did you find out where the dog went after this occurred?
Yeah, he trotted away, and then he started sniffing around here and there, but he didn't seem to go back to a house. There were some homes nearby, but he didn't go to any of them.
Well, what I would have done if you know that neighborhood, or you know people in that neighborhood, I would put up some signs. Saw this dog running loose. Does this dog belong to anybody? It doesn't seem like it's an aggressive dog at all. It seems like when an aggressive dog, and dogs don't play games. If they don't like you, they don't buy you a drink. Okay, and this was not a bite. This was more of a mouthing. It's hard, but it's still a mouthing. So it just sounds to me like the dog was anxious or something was going on. I can't tell that from sitting here, but I would keep my eye out, and the bottom line is what I would do is I would try to post some signs around to see if you can find out who's the guardian of this dog, and maybe he got loose on somebody as well.
Okay, yeah, because what I got of it is he was obviously trying to tell me something, but he apparently had no intent to hurt me, or he could have done that.
Exactly. My point exactly. You don't know how many times dogs like this have gotten into trouble because the people think they're biting them or they're aggressive, when in reality they're trying to educate them or guide them to some specific area. Listen, you're talking to someone, and I may talk about it later. My life has been saved literally a minimum of 5 times by dogs. A couple of times in Southeast Asia, where it was actually safer than my training days in parts of the Bronx, New York. But the bottom line is, yeah, you're absolutely right. You nailed it right on the head. Anyway, I got to move on, but don't go anywhere, Stephen. I'm going to put you on hold. I know you don't have any pets, so I'm going to send you a T-shirt that says, "None of my friends walk upright." And remember, this is not a dog problem. This is a human problem. Let me take a break. When we come back, the phones are fully jammed. Then, I have all these topics I want to talk about, but you know that your calls come first. So I'll blow off my topics and get to all your calls. Ellen, Linda, Bruce, Stephen, Robert, right after this. The phone number, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. I'm Warren Eckstein. You're listening to The Pet Show. Nothing like time in the water. I've talked about this before, but when I was the creature keeper for the Mickey Mouse Club, I had the opportunity of spending a lot of time at Disney World in Orlando. That's where the Mickey Mouse Club was shot. And I spent a lot of time in the living seas, but also out in the water, swimming and hanging out with some amazing dolphins. I got to tell you, there's nothing. They're big and they can be intimidating, but just being around them, there's something so soothing, so mellow, so comfort. Yeah, absolutely amazing. I just wish I could spend the rest of my life swimming around with them. Hey, great time to give me a call. Here's what we're going to do. Bruce, I'm going to get to your call. I definitely want to get to Linda. I definitely want to get to you, Ellen. I want to get to you, Robert, as well. But we got a break in a couple of minutes, so I don't want to rush anyone. So if you can hang on, the top of the hour will be a real quick break, and then I'll get to your calls after that. The phone number, by the way, 866-870-KRLA. I still have all natural herbal flea spray, and if you don't think you're going to have fleas after today's rain, think again. I got some flea spray to give away, some Lucy pet food, some more hugs and kisses, and copies of my books as well. 866-870-5752. That is the way to get through. So you just, Bruce, Linda, Ellen, Robert, just wait till the next break, next top of the hour, we'll get to you. So here's the story. Anyone who's ever lived in New York might have heard of a place called Hunts Point Market. Hunts Point Market is where all the fruit vendors go to buy their fruit. And when the Son of Sam was a big problem in New York, so many people were having their dogs trained by me for personal protection. So I was bringing a dog to Hunts Point Market because it was I'm at 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, and as I'm walking down the street, I'm approached by a man, puts a gun in my throat, a knife to my chest, and tells me that he's going to kill me unless I give him anything he wants. What he didn't know, though, what he didn't realize was that the dog alongside of me was trained by me. And I didn't have to say a word. Once the dog saw assertive behavior towards me, the dog automatically reacted, hit the man where he took the gun right out of his hand. Bottom line is I'm here today to talk to you. But let me tell you, if it were not for that dog, and I love to say the incredible training by me, but if it was not for that beautiful, beautiful Dobie I was working with that time, I wouldn't be here talking to you today. So my love, my affinity, my respect for animals is always going to be that strong. This is only one time where they saved me. I'll talk more in the future, when I was overseas or whatever, but this was a scary situation. A knife and a gun and a dog, and if it wasn't for the dog, I wouldn't be here today. So if you want to know why I devoted my entire life to working with animals, that, my friends, is just another reason. Okay, coming up in the next hour, besides answering all your calls, what we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about emotional stressors if we have time. And, my specialty, as I said earlier, was kind of teaching dogs to sniff out things like drugs and bombs. And so how good is your dog's nose? Just how good is your dog's nose? We'll talk about that. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number. Quick break, then right back to all your calls. I'm Warren Eckstein, and thank you for listening to The Pet Show.
your pet's head. But maybe it's you who needs to be trained instead.
And welcome back to the second hour of the Pet Show. Great time to give me a call. Plenty of time for your questions and comments. Lots of great stuff to give away. The phone number 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Thank you, people, for sending me little notes saying we're glad you survived and we're glad you're alive. All right, just before I get to the phones, and that's my priority, to get to all your phone calls. So if I blow up my topics, I will, but not this one. People often ask me, Warren, I know that you specialized in teaching dogs to sniff out drugs. I know you specialized in teaching dogs to sniff out bombs and find people. We know you worked at Ground Zero during 9/11. But how strong, literally, how strong and how good is a dog's nose? Well, let me share this with you. A dog's nose is estimated to be between 100,000 to 100 million times more sensitive than a human nose, depending on the breed. Obviously, you have a breed like a bloodhound, their nose is amazing, and one of the reasons that bloodhounds have so many wrinkles is the scent stays within those wrinkles, helping them do a lot better when it comes to tracking. Now, here's the bottom line. This means that dogs can detect very low scent concentrations. Sit down, you're not going to believe me on this, but hold it. This is the truth. The equivalent of a teaspoon of sugar in 5 million liters of water or 2 Olympic-sized swimming pools, they can pick up the smell of the sugar. So, a teaspoon of sugar in 2 Olympic-sized swimming pools is not enough to prevent your dog from smelling. But plus the fact they differentiate odors. I also often joke that when you're cooking, let's say you're cooking spaghetti sauce and you go into the room and I smell the spaghetti sauce cooking. The dog goes in, he smells the garlic, the oregano, or whatever else you put in there. They separate those odors. That's why it was so easy for me to teach them to smell the difference or pick out certain types of drugs. Or when I trained the first dog in America to respond to a woman prior to an epileptic seizure, it was the same reason, picking up on the chemical changes. And it was incredible. So I should post that story one day. It was a story when I trained the first epileptic seizure dog in just outside of Boston many years ago. All right, 866-870-KRLA, the phone number. Let's go to Bruce in Cyprus. Hey, Bruce, welcome to the Pet Show.
Hi, Warren. I've got a 12-year-old lab that has a lot of medical issues, and I'll try to be brief. A couple of years ago, irritable bowel syndrome or disease or whatever, blowing blood out both ends. Vet brought her back, took a couple of months to figure out what kind of food she could eat and tolerate. A year later, she starts slowing down. I think, well, she's 11 at that point. She's slowing down, and then she really slowed down. I took her into the vet. She couldn't even hardly get up. He called about a day later and said she's got Addison's, and I talked to you about that. I'm sure you probably don't remember, about a year ago. And so for every month for the rest of her life, I had to take her in and get a shot of this Percotin, I think it's called.
Sure, exactly.
About 6 months after this, and by the way, after the Addison's thing, she's running around like a 2-year-old dog. I was shocked. We're out in the car about 6 months later. She has to pee. She gets out. Back in the car. About 10 minutes later, she's screaming bloody murder. And I think she injured herself getting in and out of the car. So I take her. She's got so much pain. I had to go in the middle of the night and get her a pain shot, take her to the vet. He has her for a day or two. He can't really tell exactly what it is they suggest, so I go to the place in Specialty in Fountain Valley, and which is very expensive if your previous caller is listening. They have her for they had her for a day. And they diagnosed some kind of autoimmune thing with her joints, and I didn't think that was it because it came on so suddenly. The joint thing I thought would be a long-term thing. Anyway, since then, after a couple of days, she's kind of okay. She's coming upstairs, and then she just started going downhill since August, and now she can barely get up. she was kind of struggling anyway getting up, and a slippery floor. Forget it. And I expected that.
Well, Bruce, let me just stop you for a second, because I don't want to run out of time. Number one, when you have an older dog that's having difficulty on the floor, either putting down carpet or they have no slip boots that you can put on a dog so they can walk around without slipping on the floor. That's important. Okay, that's number one. Number two is that when you're dealing with a dog, it's up to you. The only person that can really know exactly how much pain the dog is in would be someone like yourself. But I noticed from my computer that your main question to me right now is that the dog is waking you up at 3 a.m. Is that really the question?
Yes, she's very needy. That was the end of the story here. She's very needy, which I understand, and she does not like being by herself.
Okay, so let's go through why. Let's go through why. Number one, the dog's at an age now where she's probably going through some doggy dementia, doggy Alzheimer's, all of that kind of kicking in at the same time. So the bottom line is you have a 12-year-old dog. If she's not in pain and she's eating and she's drinking and she's pooping, and if you help her up, she's fine, the only person that can make the decision when is it time to say goodbye is you, not your vet. You sit down, you look in the eyes are the mirror to the soul. I've said that a million times. They will let you know. Is she eating right now? Is she drinking water right now? Does she seem happy to be with you?
She's everything you just said. As long as if I get her up, on all fours, she's okay. She walks slowly, but she's eating, pooping, drinking, everything.
Okay, are you familiar with the special harnesses that they have to help dogs get up from their back legs? Are you familiar with those at all?
Well, I got her like a front end harness, and then I grabbed that and put my hand underneath her stomach and lift her up.
Okay, you can do that, but there's also things that you can put under her, or just in front of her hind legs, which kind of is really loose, but keeps them up there, which can help her kind of walk on her own, making her feel more independent. The name, but if you go online, just a real leg lift for dogs, I'm sure you'll see 100 different ones, but that might be something. So I know it's really hard. I know it's a difficult time. I know it's an older dog. How many years we have left, how many days we have left, we don't know. But my bottom line is this. Whatever animal I live with, whether they walk upright or not, I just want to make sure that when the time comes and they have to meet their maker, that they know how much they were loved and cared for. And it sounds to me you're doing everything you possibly can. So keep her comfortable, keep her happy in terms of getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning. You know what? That's life. When you have an older person living with you, an older dog living with you, I'm sure that if you were getting up in the middle of the night, the dog would get up and comfort you. So sometimes at this point, God knows how much longer we're going to have her. I would say drink a little bit more caffeine and get up and give her a hug and a kiss.
Well, I just started going to bed earlier.
There you go. Better than my resolution. Better than my resolution. Go to sleep a little bit earlier. Yeah, but that's why. And sometimes, as they get older, they wake you up. Their time's off. They don't hear the same way. They don't smell the same way. They don't see the same way. So something that may not have bothered her at 3 o'clock in the morning, your neighbor's Harley Davidson pulling in down the block, well, maybe she didn't bother her then, but maybe she hears it different now, and it bothers her now. So those are all things you have to take into consideration. But with a dog this age, going through the medical issues you're going through, give her a hug and a kiss every day, and just thank God every minute you have her.
Okay, thank you very much.
Hey, Bruce, not going. I'm going to put you on hold. I'm going to send you a product called Arthrosoothe Gold. It's a great product made by NatureVet. It's one of the better products in keeping the rear legs, the hips, and joints in really good shape. I've sent it to a lot of people over the last 30 years, and people say really good things about it. So it's on its way to you, and I appreciate your phone call. That phone call that I just got from Bruce is the reason I stay on the air for as long as I've been here, 43, 44 years. Why? Because my listeners, you understand the concept of it's okay to admit how passionate we are about the pets we live with. People, I remember doing a segment years ago on The Tonight Show, and Carson said to me, "Hey, Warren, is it true that you like animals better than people?" I said, "Yeah, it's true that I like animals better than people." He says, "Why?" I said, "I've never had an animal lie to me. If they don't like me, I know about it." So the bottom line is, Bruce, you're exactly why I do this show every week, and will continue doing it for as long as I can, basically because you guys and the compassion, the emotional, physiological compassion that you have for your dogs and cats is like none other. And that's why my listeners, both here, my national audience, Armed Forces Radio, all of you guys amaze me every single time. All right, let me see if I can squeeze in another call right now. We're gonna get to you, Bridget, Bruce, and Linda and Ellen. But right now it's Robert in Whittier. Hey, Robert, welcome to the show.
Hey, Warren, how you doing?
I'm doing absolutely great today. How about you? Are you gonna come out and see me next week?
I would love to. I'll get the address. Okay, I have two cats. A boy and a girl. The boy's 5, the girl's 6. The girl I got from my friend, and she had to fight for food when she was a desert cat. And the other one was sort of babied, fed chicken and rice.
All right, so let me ask you, Robert, which I know that from my computer it says one of them's licking their fur off. Is it the one that was in the which one is it?
The one that was babied, the one from Whittier.
Okay.
He licks around his nipples and his hind legs licks the fur off.
She's licking the other cat or licking herself?
No, he is licking himself. He's licking his fur off, the boy.
All right, let's go over a couple of things.
Licking his fur off.
Okay. Now,
Pearl is really aggressive and sort of, I don't want to say it on the air, but she has a temper. So
okay, so here's
the one from the desert.
Okay, here's the bottom line. The fact that the two cats are living together, how do they get along?
You know what? They play, they get along. She hisses at him. He's very timid. He doesn't, he'll let her eat first.
Okay, so you answered the question for me. Cats groom themselves a minimum of 50% of the day. Now, when you have a cat that's over-grooming themselves and licking themselves constantly, it becomes a compulsive situation. However, in your case, with the fact that he's a little intimidated, lets her eat first, lets her do this first, when a cat grooms themselves, it's kind of like a human massage. It's their way of calming themselves down. The first thing a mother cat does to the kittens when they're born is start to lick them. They associate licking with comfort and alleviating stress and anxiety. So that's probably why he's doing it. However, in the situation that you're in, what I would be doing is trying to increase the mental stimulation as much as you possibly can. Now, you hear me talk every week about paper bags and cardboard boxes and changing them and growing organic plants. And I know people say, come on, Warren, you're crazy. But listen, cats are nomadic creatures. Cats are used to consistent changes in their environment, good, healthy changes. So what happens is when you bring two cats into a household and the cats are there and the home is pretty stagnant, and I don't mean that in a negative way, but you're not adding a lot of new things every day, what happens is some of these stresses and some of these anxieties take place. In some cases, it's excessive licking. In other cases, it's aggressive behavior. In other cases, it's just aggressive hiding, assertive hiding. So there are a lot of different things that can take place here. So in your case, what I'm going to recommend that you do is try to increase the stimulation mentally within your home. And that means it's free. Go to the supermarket, get a cardboard box. Today it smells like fish. Tomorrow it smells like chicken. Be creative. Make a duplex, a condo, a truck, whatever you want to do. Change them. See if that doesn't make a difference. But I'm also, in case there's a physical reason, on my Hugs and Kisses supplement, the one for cats is really important, again, with that biotin and lecithin. So what I'm going to do is I'm also going to send you a jar of the Hugs and Kisses for your cat. Take about 3 or 4 weeks. That may be just enough to help prevent the excessive grooming and excessive licking. That in conjunction, because it's probably now a habit, that in conjunction with increasing the mental stimulation within the home is going to make all the difference in the world for you.
Okay. And he always had a problem with a urinary tract infection. So we had to get food that was for the urinary tract.
Yeah, a food made specifically for UTI, yeah.
Yeah, the UTI. She's fine. She's just, she was the runt, and she had to fight for her food. So she's aggressive, and he's very timid.
Well, here's what you need to do. Listen, I got to run, but here's what I'm going to put you on hold. But before I do that, here's what you need to do. Instead of feeding the more assertive cat out of one dish, take 3 paper plates or 3 dishes, break her food into 3 portions, put them alongside of each other to help resolve any possessiveness over food. Because you have to fight for food. Well, now if there's 3 dishes, there's some here, there's some here, there's some there. The protectiveness or possessiveness over the food will disappear. Putting you on hold, and we are sending you some hugs and kisses for your cat on its way, and I appreciate that phone call. Do have an open line, pretty rare here on the Pet Show. Great time to call me, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Still got some flea spray to give away, some T-shirts to give away, some more Lucy pet food. But right now, speaking about Lucy pet food, Taking me back to my childhood with Felix the cat. We are back on the Pet Show. I'm Warren Eckstein. The phone number 866-870-5752. Some stories I want to talk about. I want to get to Bridget in a second. I want to get to you, Linda, in a second too. I do have an open line, 866-870-5752. 866-870-5752. But let me take Linda's call, Ellen's call first, then I'll get to you, Linda, I promise. Hey, Ellen, welcome to the show.
Hi, Warren. This is Ellen. My dog is dying.
Oh, I'm so
He has been dying for months.
I'm so sorry.
And he's still in bed, but he is alive because I touched him and he moved. And he doesn't eat.
Ellen, first tell me more about your dog. First of all, what's your dog's name?
I can't. Just a minute. Go speak again, please.
What's your dog's name?
My dog's name is Watson.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. What was his name?
Like Sherlock and Watson.
Oh, Watson. Okay. So Watson is how old?
15.
And what type of dog is Watson?
He's yeah. All of a sudden it's escaped. He's a little dog. I can't think of it.
Okay, so let me ask you a couple of questions, okay? First of all, I know it's a difficult time. Have you had Watson since he was a puppy?
No, I got him when he was 6 years old from the...
Okay, so you got him when he was 6 years old, so you've had him for, if my math is even close to being right, what, 8 years?
I beg your pardon?
So you've had him about 7 or 8 years?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so here's the scenario. When you say that he's dying, talk to me about it. What's going on? Is he not eating? Is he not pooping? Is he not happy? Is he not... Well, tell me, what is he like right now?
Okay, Warren, you need... I don't know why I can't hear you. I can hear you on the radio, but I can't hear you this way.
Well, maybe turn off your radio and you'll hear me better.
Okay. My radio's in another room.
Okay, here's what I'm saying, okay? So tell me a little bit more. What is his situation right now? Is he in his bed? Is he not able to move? Is he not eating? Is he not pooping? Does he look like he's in pain? Describe to me.
He is pooping every now and then. Yesterday he spent most of the day in bed.
Yeah.
I put him out probably in about 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay.
Just to be outside. But today he's still in bed again. Yesterday all he ate was, he gave up dog food a long time ago. Months ago.
Okay, Ellen. I want to make sure. Ellen, I want to make sure I have time to respond to your question properly. So, number one, he's eating a little bit, not eating pet food anymore, but he's eating whatever you make him, a hamburger, cheese, whatever you make him. That's number one. You take him outside and he poops. He's older, 15 years old, and he's sleeping all day. My grandfather did that. Okay. So, what makes you think he is dying now?
I beg your pardon?
What makes you think that your dog is dying?
Because his head is almost down to the ground, and he has not raised his tail in months, and he has not eaten regularly. And some days he goes without eating anything at all day long.
Here's what you need to do, all right? Very simple. You need to have a veterinarian come to your home and evaluate Watson. That's the humane thing to do. Maybe some steroids will make Watson feel better. Maybe it's time for Watson to cross over. And if it is his time, what a better place than at his home in his bed. That's how my dogs have all crossed the Rainbow Bridge, by having a vet come to my home so they were held in my arms on my couch or in their bed with their music playing, so they felt comfortable when they crossed over the bridge the way I would want to be. Now you're going to make me cry. So,
I'm ready for him to go. No question about it.
So what you need to do is you need to call a vet.
I hold him. I hold him, and
No, and
whatever.
all you can do right now, Ellen, is tell him how much you love him, how much you care for him, what an incredible relationship you've had. You need to get a veterinarian to come to your home now. That's the bottom line. You need to get an in-home. Luckily, we live in Southern California where there are lots of in-home vets. You need to get an in-home vet to come to your home right now.
I can't believe a vet would come to the house.
Oh, there are hundreds of vets. My vet comes to my house all the time. If you just go, I don't know if you have access to a computer, but if you go online or even if you call your vet and say, listen, I can't get him into you, can you recommend someone to come to the house? Literally, in the Anaheim area, there are probably 24 veterinarians that will come to your home. That's what you need to do at this point. Absolutely.
I never thought of that.
Well, that's what you need to do. Listen, I got to move on, Ellen. My heart breaks for you. It really, really does. But I think the only thing I can tell you is that when the time comes and you have to say goodbye, just remember that you took this dog into your home. You took Watson into your home. You gave him the most amazing life you possibly can. I'm sure that Watson is thanking you every day. And when he crosses over that rainbow bridge, he will cross over that rainbow bridge, importantly, knowing that Ellen loved and took care of him. Ellen, I'm going to put you on hold, and we're going to send Ellen, I don't even know what to send you at this point, Ellen. I'm going to send you... I'll send you a T-shirt at this point, and when you get, when it's time, call me back. We'll go a little bit. For God, my heart breaks for you. It is so hard to say. I've said to say goodbye to literally probably 400 or 500 animals in my life. It never gets easier. It never gets easier. The only thing that makes me feel better is I know that my mother, who's up in heaven, every single one of the dogs that I have to say goodbye to, as soon as I get to heaven, I'm going to have to put on a diet. Because my Jewish mother made sure that as soon as they crossed the Rainbow Bridge, she gave them one of her big meals. So all those dogs, my dogs and cats that have crossed over, when I get there, hopefully it's not tomorrow, but when I get there, I'm going to be a little chubby. Big hug and a kiss for you, Ellen. My heart breaks, but remember the good times. Remember the good times. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number. Speaking about times and speaking about helping pets, please listen to this. Ah, yes. We are back on the Pet Show. I'm Warren Eckstein. The phones are jam-packed. I'm going to try to get to as many calls as I possibly can. But you guys all know by now that when I get off the air here, I do my Radio America Armed Forces radio show. Same type of show. Give away the same type of gifts. I'll give you that number later on. But hang in there. I'm going to try to get to your calls. But right now, it has been so long. I am so looking forward to next Saturday and getting out and shaking all of your hands and talking to you. One of the hardest parts for me on the radio show is sometimes I want to go into more depth. I want to see the dog or the cat I'm talking about. I want to see the person that I'm talking to. Well, that's your opportunity. Next Saturday, it's the grand opening of Teresa's Country Feed and Pet in Tarzana. They're located at 18601 West Oxnard Street in Tarzana. It's going to be a day like you've never seen before. First of all, I will be broadcasting my KRLA show, the one you're listening to now. I'll be broadcasting my Radio America show. I'll also be broadcasting my Armed Forces radio show. I'll be there all day long from 9 in the morning to 3 in the afternoon answering your questions, and I can go into a lot more depth there. Now, that's not enough. Besides that, let me tell you, Lucy Pet Wave Machine will be there. You might remember it from the Rose Bowl. It was the longest float ever in the Rose Bowl at that point. You can bring your dogs down. Try your dog surfing. This is Southern California. We'll put the dog on a surfboard. We'll see if we can get him to surf. He'll have fun doing it. Wagmore will be there with adoptions. There's going to be vendors, bounce houses. Bring your kids, raffles, samples, lots of free stuff to give away. So here's what I want you to do. You can check out the grand opening. You can go to my website, thepetshow.com, thepetshow.com. You'll see the whole thing about where you can go, what you need to do. Or you can go directly to the Teresa's Country Feed and Pet in Tarzan. I believe it's .com, and check that out as well. But don't miss it next Saturday. And, you know, at 9 o'clock, I'm going to be there at 8:30. You know, I always get there early, so don't miss it. I don't know when the next time I'm going to be able to remote like this is, but it's been almost 5 or 6 years, so I'm looking forward to it. So don't miss that next week. All right, let me get back to the phone lines here. God, these are some tough questions you guys have hit me with today. But right now, I don't even know if I have an answer, but let me go to Linda in Irvine. Hey, Linda, welcome to the show.
Hi.
Hi, how you doing?
Yeah, I have another sad story. I've always rescued animals. I've been doing it since 1998. And at the school where I worked, there were a lot of stray cats, which I picked up, as well as dogs. And a lot of the dogs have passed away. But right now, because of the situation with the property, I had a roof that wasn't in good condition, and the city came in and they saw that I had lost my kitchen, and I had a wall that was out in another room, and they said it wasn't inhabitable. And so they had me move out, and now they have it in receivership. And that means that the lawyers have taken over, and they insisting that I get everything out of the house. The animals are already out. But the problem is I can't take care of the animals and do what they want me to do. It's just I'm overwhelmed. And I worked myself for 40 years. And I'm an older person, and I just
but Linda, I'm trying to figure out an angle here. In other words, I know you're not in the house. I know you saved all the animals, right? So all the animals are out of the house. But is it that you don't have a place to go right now? Is that it?
No. I have a place where I'm living, but the problem is I have to focus on getting all the stuff. They want me to get everything out of the house because it's lawyers.
Okay, no, I understand that, but what is your ultimate goal to move back into that house?
Eventually, but the problem right now is I've got a lot of cats, and I have 2 that are sick, and that I'm taking care of, and I spend hours and hours and hours.
Yeah, I hear these stories every day, and my heart just breaks. Here's the best I can do, okay? Linda, what I want you to do is send me an email, a short email about what we just talked about. Send it to me at mail@thepetshow.com, mail@thepetshow.com. No guarantees, but my listeners out there, if there's people out there listening that may be able to help or guide or work with you, and I know you live in Irvine, then I'm sure they will write to me. Hopefully they will. Sometimes I get inundated with people saying, we can help, but that's the best that I could do at this point. So what I want you to do is send me an email.
I've asked people in the past, but nobody ever has stepped up.
Well, let's see if we
When
can
I
get.
had
Let's
cancer,
see.
nobody stepped
Yeah,
up.
well, let's see if we can get some people to step up. I can't guarantee it, but let's give it a shot. In the meantime, you send me an email, mail@thepetshow.com. I'm going to put you on hold. At least I can do is help you with some Lucy pet food for all those cats. My heart breaks for you. I know what it's like to go through these stories. Just absolutely incredible. All right, I'm going to take a break. When we come back, I'm going to get to all your calls. Whatever calls I got left, I'm going to take on my next show. So don't go in there. Stay there. Stay there. So, I'm sorry to break it to you folks, but dogs do lick. Does that mean you should feel flattered? If your dog comes over and gives you a big smooch, should you feel happy and flattered? Well, maybe. But dogs use their tongue, their mouth, their sense of smell, and sense of taste to work things out. It's a way of communicating with other dogs. It could be cleaning, could be comfort, could be emotional communication, getting attention, self-soothing, expressing submissiveness, investigating, could be an underlying medical reason. But very often, when you have a dog that is licking everything, a couple of things you have to check. Number one is make sure the teeth and the gums are in good shape. If the teeth and gums hurt, lick, 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 lick. That's number one. Number two, you want to make sure there's no other medical reasons causing the dog to do this. I mean, pain in the mouth, gum problems. We all know how many, I think it's like 80 or 95% of dogs and cats will develop some type of dental or periodontal disease by the time they're 3 to 5 years old. So if your dog is licking everything, you want to have that checked. But let me answer the question that's on everyone's mind. So, Warren, I remember Regis and Kathy Lee asked me this. So, Warren, do you really think the dogs are kissing you? Are they kissing you like a person would kiss you? Not a whole lot of people kiss me. Would they kiss you like a person would kiss you? And, you have this skeptic. Nah, they're just licking you. It tastes good. They're tasting your sweat. Blah, 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 blah. Listen to me. I have personally trained over 40,000 animals. Not my quote. That's legitimate. YMCA, 40,000 animals. And I can sit here and I can tell you that 80% of the time that dogs lick me, it's a kiss. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I should be put away. A lot of people think I should, but I believe that humans are not the only ones that show signs of affection from lip to lip. I believe that our dogs, and in some cases our cats, are kissing us as well. So, should I be put away, folks, or do you believe that dogs kiss you because they love you too? Give me a call. Let me know. 866-870-KRLA. A quick break and then right back to your calls. I'm going to go kiss my dogs right now. I'm Warren Eckstein. This is The Pet Show. And we are back on the Pet Show. I'm Warren Eckstein. Let's do this. Let me go to Marco. Then we got Jason. We have Patricia. We got David calling. David says that at the dog park, dogs that kiss each other, which is dangerous. We'll try to get to that call. I don't know if we'll get to it, but we'll try. I promise. But right now, it's Marco in Whittier. Hey, Marco. Welcome to the Pet Show.
Hi, Warren. Blessing to talk to you. So I have a 5-year-old husky mixed with German Shepherd. Beautiful female dog.
We don't call them mixes anymore. We call them blended breeds.
Okay, blended breed. So every year we went to the vet regularly, and every year I would ask the vet, my son would ask the vet, how's her teeth? Because I was very mindful to make sure that nothing would happen. That preventive medicine, right? Or preventive treatments, I wanted to make sure I had them on time. So every year I would get told, her teeth are great, this and that. All of a sudden last year she's got a stinky breath, and then they tell me, we have to remove her teeth. So they take her in, they put her under, and they remove most of her teeth, like 18 teeth.
This is a five-year-old dog?
Yes, sir.
They took out most of her teeth of a 5-year-old dog?
Yes, sir.
And what was the reason they took out the teeth? What was the reason they took out the teeth?
They were saying because she had advanced
periodontal disease.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Advanced, and that to make sure that it didn't get infected. And
let me stop you. Let me just stop you and listen to me carefully, okay? If you took your dog to the vet every year for 5 years, and every year the vet checked her teeth and said the teeth look like you're really, really good shape, don't worry about it. And now that the dog's 5 years old, you go back to the same vet, they take out whatever number of teeth they take out. I would question that. I would question that.
I did question it.
And what'd they say?
I did question it. I said, Doctor, how could this be? This doesn't happen overnight. We've been coming here and asking the same questions. I gave him an out. I said, maybe it's not you, your staff. And so he looked in the notes and said, well, it says here that she wouldn't allow herself to be checked, that she would bite. I go, you kidding me? That was never told to us. And had you told me, I would have suggested maybe you could put a gadget or something to prevent her from biting.
No. Let me tell you what was going on. Let me tell you what was probably going on, okay? The dog's mouth was probably in pain, and therefore the dog was displaying aggressive behavior. She's in a different location at the veterinary hospital where they're already stressed to the limits. You can't evaluate a dog at a veterinary hospital. They're stressed out. It's like my blood pressure going up when I go to see my doctor. Something does not sound right to me. All right? Now, even if you were the worst when it came to teeth, and you didn't brush them, you didn't do this, you didn't do that, bottom line is a 5-year-old dog losing that many teeth doesn't make sense to me. However, what I would do if I were you, if you can afford it, what I would do is I would make a visit to a veterinary dental specialist. They're all over Southern California. Let him look at the dog's mouth. Maybe they pulled the dog's teeth for another reason. It doesn't sound that the teeth were checked every year. Basically, what they would have done is they would have put the dog under anesthesia. I just had it done to mine under anesthesia. They would have used a Cavitron, the same machine your dentist uses to clean your teeth, to get underneath and find out what was really there. But for periodontal, remember, my background's in behavior, so I'm going off my lane here a little bit. But the bottom line is this: I have yet to see a dog with healthy teeth and healthy gums go down. A 5-year-old dog go downhill in 11 to 12 months that fast.
Well, that was my gut feelings, that they just wanted to charge me for the surgery and all that because it's more money. I hate to be that pessimistic.
Yeah, I can't say that because most of the vets I work with are the most ethical, amazing people in the world. But just like anything else, there's good and bad. What I would definitely recommend that you do is, I can't say it was an error, but spend a little extra money. Get an opinion from a veterinary dental person. Let's see what he says. And then if he says this was totally unnecessary, what I would do is I would make a report to the Southern California Veterinary Medical Association about what was done, if in fact it was done wrong or not done, and it needed to be done. So you want to get the opinion of a specialist first, and that's what I recommend.
And it gets a little worse, Warren. Now it turns out that this just happened like 8 months ago. Now all of a sudden, like last year toward November, her front teeth are beginning to look like she's doing she's chewing on her like she has bubble gum. She's chewing like that, making.
Yeah, but it's very
moving her
possible with
jaws.
all the other teeth missing, those teeth are becoming loose and are hurting her now as well.
Yeah, got it. That's what I. Okay.
You know, so,
well,
so
they want to
I-
remove those too, and I'm not going to remove them. I don't think that those are the inside, the ones in the front. The what are they called? The canines?
The canine, but yeah, get another opinion. Do yourself a
I will.
favor. You've done everything
Last
right.
question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Last question, and real quick, is are there any non-profits that I could put fake teeth on her that I can use?
I don't know about non-profits. You know, there are. When I was doing a lot of work with a lot of the PDs, you know, very often the dog would lose a canine teeth and they would do an implant. But I don't know if anyone. That's why you need to speak to the veterinary dental. They may be doing implants. They may be doing implants. No, I don't know. They may be. I really don't know about that.
You're a blessing. I kept wanting to call you, and I finally got through.
Oh,
Thank you
Marco,
so much. I love
listen.
you very much.
You're the blessing for loving your dog so much. Anyway, I'm putting you on hold. I'm sending you some Lucy pet food. Give me a call back. Let me know what goes on. Does anyone out there? I mean, it doesn't sound right to me. Something just not clicking the way it should click. All right, let me take a break. When we come back, we're going to try to get to Jason. We're going to try to get to Patricia, Marco, and we just did Marco and David. However, when we come back, I'm also going to give you the number for the national show. It starts exactly when I get off the air here at 1 o'clock. I just have enough time to hit the fire hydrant and get a cup of coffee. So I'll give you that number in a minute. But right now, let me tell you about my own Hugs and Kisses. And we are back on the Pet Show. Let me see if we can squeeze a couple of calls. And by the way, let me give you that number for the network show. It starts at 1 o'clock. It goes to Washington, D.C., so give it some time to ring. Here's that number, 877-725-8255. Start calling, not before, but at 1 o'clock, 877-725-8255, 877-725-8255. Let me see if I can squeeze in a couple of more calls. Let's go to David. Hey, David, how you doing?
Oh, hey, you can hear me?
I can hear you, Dave. I got like a minute or so left, so what's your question?
Got it. So I go to the dog park for interactions, and I see dogs kissing other dogs. It strikes me as very not hygienic, but very socially important. I let them kiss my beard, and I'm asking you about the risk-benefit ratio of letting dogs kiss each other.
You know, it's a tough question for me to answer. It all depends on what dogs you're talking about. Some dogs, it's great. Some dogs actually kiss each other because they love each other. But very often, when a dog is licking the mouth of another dog, it's generally a sign of either a little bit of a submissiveness or going back to instinctive behavior. That's why it's really important. I wish everyone would keep their dogs' mouths nice and clean, so when they do kiss each other, there's no problem. But again, the bottom line, it could be just a sign of affection, but on the other end, it could be a sign of submission. So you'd have to watch the other body language. Where's the tail? What do the eyes look like? What do the ears look like? So it could be either one. But it's astute of you to pick up on the fact that it does take place. For the most part, the dog that's licking the other dog's mouth is usually the more submissive of the two.
Absolutely. It just strikes me as unhygienic as hell.
Well, you know, the people. Why is it less hygienic than people kissing each other?
Agreed.
I'm not getting into that point with you, David. That I promise. Anyway, great question. I'm going to put you on hold, David. I'm sending you a T-shirt that says "None of my friends walk upright," but that's why dogs kiss. You know, remember. Years ago, I had the opportunity of saving a bunch of feral dogs in a wild area of a park in New York. And what we found out is the mother dog would go over and you know, hunt and get whatever she could find. Then when she would come back and regurgitate and let the other puppies lick her mouth. So that goes back to instinctive behavior. So we are out of time. Phone number, network show. I got your numbers written down, so I got your names down. 877-725-8255. Start giving that a call in about a minute or two. Until next week, you all know what to do by now. Come out and see me at Teresa's Country Feed and Pet. If you want more information, go to my website, thepetshow.com. In the meantime, give all your pets a big hug and a kiss for you. Run right between the ears for me. I'm Warren Eckstein, and bless you for listening to The Pet Show.